All right, welcome back to the B team. As you can see, it is me and Gassy today. We are missing Mike, who's got that big exam coming up, but we welcome on a great guest today, NYC FC player Kevin O'Toole. Welcome on, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Well, season starts this Saturday, right?
Yeah,
25th?
that's right.
Yeah, at Nashville.
At Nashville. Yep.
All right, awesome. Awesome. Well, how's preseason been? Like, what's the vibe going into the season like?
It's been good. We had around six preseason games that feel like we made progress in each one. A lot of guys rotating into the squad. We have guys coming in who we're just beginning to sign, and could see more guys coming into the group pretty soon. So it's just good to get minutes and get some freshness and sharpness back going into the game. But I'm excited for Nashville. It'll be an energetic crowd. It'll be 35,000 there, full stadium. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, their stadium's always just loud. Like they got good fans down there in Nashville.
Yeah, they do. They do. And it's their new stadium now. They used to play where the Titans played
Yeah,
in their first season or two, and now they've got soccer specific stadium. So it'll be a cool environment.
no, for sure. I mean, coming off last season where yourself and the team made some big strides, had a great season, almost made that run to the final. I mean, what are the goals for this season looking like? Like, where do you
Yeah,
think you guys
I
could
think it's
end up?
yeah, I think it's definitely to get back there, of course. Like we want to go for the MLS Cup every year. And we came 30 minutes away from getting back to the MLS Cup again. So it was definitely a letdown in the final 30, but I think we're excited to try to make another push. I think we've had a lot of guys that have moved on, like a core group that isn't with the team again this year, but I think we still have some experienced guys who have been around and made that MLS Cup run 2 years ago. So I think we're poised for a good run. We've got a lot of young guys that are getting big minutes, and like I said, we should have some more guys joining the group soon. So yeah, it'll be exciting. I think we can get back there for sure.
And speaking about the MLS Cup, I mean, if we win a second one, we have to get a bigger banner at Yankee Stadium. Like
That's right.
the banner has to be as big as the Yankees ones next time.
Yeah, it
Is
got
that
crushed on
actually a
social media.
permanent banner
Yeah,
in
so
Yankee Stadium?
yeah, so they have
That's
that
cool.
there. Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Gassy is not much of a soccer guy, more of an NFL guy. I mean, that's
God, I can
safe.
tell judging by the posters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
We
actually usually the producer. I'm filling in for our other co-host, Mike, this week.
Nice.
So I got the football takes, but I am really uneducated when it comes to soccer. I don't even really understand how the clock works. Like I know it's counting up.
It does.
I
It
never
does
really
count
made
up.
sense of it, but that's just where I'm at right now with soccer.
Fair enough. As long as you know which way the clock goes, I think that's a good start.
oh, absolutely. I fill them in every now and then on what's going on, but
For
it's
sure.
tough. I mean, NFL is completely different.
Yeah, two different kinds of football.
Absolutely. I mean, well, let's take it back to where I don't want to say back to the beginning, but on draft night, what was that feeling like when you heard your name, you saw your name, however you went about it? Like, what was that feeling like when you saw, like, oh, NYCFC, like, I'm going there?
Yeah, so I was taken in like the very beginning of the second round. And for the MLS draft, they do like a big show for the first round picks.
Yeah.
And then for the second round picks, they just kind of throw up a screen and they flash your name and the team logo next to it. So there wasn't much of a show or a warning that I was going to get picked at all. It was just we were kind of watching a feed as it was like popping up new names and my name came up and everyone screamed, but there was no audio to the actual stream. It was like it was pretty anticlimactic. But when my name came up, I was super excited. And obviously, we met at Red Bull
Yeah.
and coming from obviously from one New York club to the other, there was it was kind of a funny feeling that I was going, not taken by Red Bull, but taken by NYCFC. So I'm super happy to be in the colors I am now. And I think, yeah, it all worked out for the best.
And growing up and playing for Red Bull and getting the opportunities that you've ended up having down the line, um, is there ever a sense of like when you play against them, like I know it's a big derby, like, but is there a little extra for you where you're like, man, like I would love to go get a goal? Because you played in that derby this year, did you? Or
I
last
did,
season,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
so
so.
I played in the second one in when we played in September,
Yeah.
and it was after I had just played my first game for the team midweek. So it was definitely two huge games back to back, and obviously I was especially motivated in the Red Bull game just because it was the club I grew up playing for, and
Mhm.
felt maybe a little bit slighted. So I just wanted to put out a good performance and just help the team win.
So it's a big thing in soccer where for Gassy, like if you score against your old team, it's not like NFL where you're gonna go celebrate, stomp on their logo type thing. Like
Yeah.
you'll see guys put their hands up, like they won't celebrate. It's out of respect.
Right.
If your first MLS goal, which let's hope it comes against Nashville, uh, if that happens against the Red Bull, are we celebrating or no? Because that's a
That is a
huge
great
moment,
question.
you know?
I think I would have to if it's my first one.
It's the first one. I
I think
feel
you
like you
have to.
gotta.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you do. I also never played in MLS game for Red Bull, so I think it'd be okay to celebrate. Maybe if I played in an
True.
MLS game, then it's a bit nicer to withhold the celebration. But I think I feel all right celebrating my first one for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and let's hope that comes against Nashville. I mean, we'll be tuning in.
Appreciate
Um,
it.
no, so along with drafting, I read somewhere when you got drafted and began preseason, you were still doing work with like you're still going to Princeton and
Yeah,
finishing
that's
up
right.
like your independent work. Is that like
Yeah.
how was that working out for through preseason? Like was that tough? What did it affect your start with NYCFC? Like just
Yeah, no, it's a good question. It was like a huge challenge. I was still completing two classes and writing my senior thesis, which is like kind of like a 70-page capstone project. So
mhm,
it was just like to put all my energy into training in the morning because I was still a trialist at that point. I didn't have a guaranteed spot on the team. So I was just like really trying to go for it and just make the roster. And then I have to come back and expend a lot of energy mentally just to get through the classes and the paper. So yeah, it was a tough time, but the traveling made it fun during preseason. Went to some cool places. We were in Mexico, Costa Rica. So at a very minimum, we were in some nice spots, and I could find some nice study spaces. So it wasn't all that bad. But yeah, it was definitely a big crunch for time towards the end to try to get all those papers in and finish my school obligations.
yeah, and like the preseasons for soccer, there's days where you come home and like you can't move. So I could only
Yeah,
imagine like coming home and being like, God, I gotta write another like
yeah,
10 pages on this tonight or else I'm behind. Like that
exactly. You know how
props
it
to
is
you,
with
like that's
preseason.
incredible.
Appreciate it. Yeah, but you know how it is with preseason. It's like, yeah, you're spent after a session, a double session, maybe, a training session and a lift, and it's like you have to try to rack your brain to put it anything like to anything academic is like impossible.
Yeah, you're like finding that 1 hour in the day that
Yeah,
you'll have that time to do it. And it's just that hour, all you want to do is sleep.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, but
You
that's
open up the
awesome, man.
laptop and it's
So
like, nah, close it. I gotta take a nap.
yeah, so you finished it obviously and done with that. Uh,
Yeah.
what was it on, if I could ask?
The thesis was on the US military withdrawal from Afghanistan,
Got it.
which
All
happened
right.
during COVID. Yeah, so I just kind of discussed whether like humanitarian intervention, which is like part of the reason why we were in Afghanistan, is like ever truly like warranted, like, and if
Yeah,
good progress can ever come from it. That was
gotcha.
kind of the main topic.
Yeah. No, that's, I mean, that you have plenty of information on that. So I'm
Yeah.
sure it made it a little easier than what some people's would have been for you at that time.
Yeah, I
Um,
tried to exactly. I tried to make it a topic that was like topical and in the news, so I could have
mhm.
lots to draw from. Because yeah, some people really get in the weeds with their research, and it makes it a lot harder. So I tried to kind of stay the course and do something that was manageable.
Absolutely. Yeah, and let's stay on Princeton here. I mean, your senior season, would you say that was one of your best seasons you've had as a player? Just in like a
Yeah,
small collect because it's only the fall. So like in that small period, do
yeah,
you think that was one of your best segments ever?
yeah, definitely. I think I don't think I'd be in the position I am now if it weren't for that season. Like my junior year not my greatest year. And then I took a gap year during COVID because there wasn't a season in the Ivy League, a soccer
Yeah.
season. So I decided to take the year off, and just kind of buy some more time to work on my game a bit individually and hopefully put in a really good senior season so I could have some draft stock. And I think it worked out really well. Yeah, the senior season was great. And we also won the Ivy League, which was kind of the cherry on top. And we went 7-0, which hasn't been done for a while. So yeah, like individually and collectively, it was just a great year. And I think it's kind of what gave me the opportunity to be drafted and end up making the team.
Yeah, and he's not going to say this, so I will. He was first team All Ivy League and was the leader in both goals and assists. Like that's just an insane. Those are like that's something that Kevin De Bruyne does in the Prem right now, and people are like going nuts about. So like that's crazy. Like that's a huge accomplishment.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I remember going into that season, you and I were training with the Red Bull.
That's right.
Red
Yeah.
Bull 2. And I remember when I went home after I was done training with them, and I remember saying to my dad, I was like, Kevin O'Toole's going to go back to school. But like, I swear to God, he could step into that team right now and be a starter. I could see it coming. I could see that you were going to play well, be a great player. I mean, and obviously, look where you're at now, doing great.
Thanks,
So,
man. Means a lot. Appreciate it.
yeah. So let's see here. I need to ask this because I had a few things about Princeton here.
Sure.
You can say Harvard to answer this question. What was the worst field to play on?
Oh, that is a great question.
Because I'll just before you answer, I'll save you some time here. I watched some of the Harvard highlights because I saw your goal on that field.
Yeah.
The amount of lines that are on that field, and they had the black all around it. That's chaos.
That was a tough one for sure. Yeah, like when you get the lacrosse lines and football lines in there, those can be kind of tough.
Yeah.
I prefer playing on a field that's got lacrosse lines and football lines.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I
I
agree
just
with
think
that.
football ones are super distracting. It looks like really amateur when on the video. Honestly, like I remember the turf that year wasn't too bad. Like like some turf it's super matted, it's like not fun to play on.
Yeah.
That turf at least was like a little longer, so it wasn't the worst. Browns field is pretty bad. Like the turf is just really matted, and it's like playing on concrete, so that's a tough one.
I don't know how teams have those type of fields anymore. With all the study that's out there, it's like you're asking for injuries to happen.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Especially in the college season, everything's like so condensed, and like you don't take care of your body well. It's just like you can have so many guys out if you play on those fields.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day, like the college season probably should be fall, spring, but I just don't know how they would do it with the draft and everything being in there because MLS starts now. Like I don't see how you could even do it. But
that's true. Yeah, I guess
it's
it would be
super
like
condensed.
Yeah, it would be like some programs like for the top guys, like they'll just lose those players for the spring season.
Yeah.
I guess it would kind of be like in football, like some guys opt out of the bowl games, right? Like before the draft, so that they can stay healthy and keep their draft eligibility. So I guess it'd kind of be like that, except you'd be losing a full half of the season. But yeah. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, staying on the topic of guys leaving and stuff. When you won the USL Championship, I believe, with Red Bull 2, right? Did it ever cross your mind like maybe I could skip college and go straight to the pros? Was that ever an option that you thought of?
Yeah, so it was definitely something I considered. I don't think, at least at the time, Red Bull weren't as upfront about that opportunity. They never really like pursued me very strongly to try to sign.
Got it.
I think at the time, like I was technically a good player, but I still had a lot to develop in terms of physicality and just like general athleticism, I think. And so maybe I wasn't, in their eyes, the best fit for their system at that period of time. So I think going to college was a really good decision and that I could develop that base of strength. I think the college game emphasizes just like strength training a lot more than I had ever been exposed to. So I think that helped a lot. And also just like to an extent, just like kind of being bullied in the midfield and like going against guys that are bigger than me, like that really helps grow your game. And I wasn't really getting that as a left back. Even in the USL, I was going against very crafty wingers and had to learn how to defend, but I was never getting the same like physical kind of exposure that you do in the Ivy League and in college soccer. So I think it helped me personally a lot.
Gotcha. No,
Yeah.
and college soccer, it's definitely different from the professional game where subs you can basically sub the whole game. So guys
Right.
are just coming in fresh, and if you're playing the whole 90 minutes, I mean, you could have a midfielder with you that's just completely like healthy, full fitness, just
Yeah.
running constantly, sub out somebody, and same guy comes in, and you got to keep up with that. So I could see how that would be
Yeah.
helpful, like now where you're just prepared for a bigger guy, like in these games, like, oh, defender's going to come, like you're ready for it.
Right. For sure. For sure.
But yeah, let's jump back to NYCFC here. Last season, so you kind of broke through at the end of the season, and you ended up starting and playing 90 minutes for most of the games down the stretch, especially in the cup final. Um, was there ever a moment where you're like, I'm here, like I'm a full pro, like I'm playing in the MLS, like I'm doing the thing?
Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, probably in that first game where the whistle blew, it was the Campeones Cup final. So it was the winner of the MLS from the previous year versus the winner of Liga MX,
Hmm.
the Mexican league. And it was like one game for a trophy, and NYCFC had never won an international trophy. So we were playing for kind of a piece of history, and it meant a lot to some of the older guys on the team. And I was kind of like the one new addition to the starting lineup. So like as soon as that whistle blew and I realized how many people were in Yankee Stadium and how many people were watching, it was pretty surreal. It kind of hit me like at a moment in the game. I was like, damn, this is real. Like, like this is people are watching this in the stadium, outside the stadium. Like I have to impress. So yeah, I think it kind of hit me in that moment, like during the game. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then looking back, obviously, like it is pretty unique to just look back on the run and see how it all developed over the year. And yeah, I'm excited to do it again this year.
Yeah, hopefully we do it again and get some more trophies in the
Yeah,
cabinet, more
definitely.
banners. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you talked about how like people are watching like outside the stadium, inside the stadium. How much on social media do you see? Like, because that's a question that I feel like a lot of guys in the NBA now are on
Yeah.
there and they're tweeting back at people, and the arguments are flying everywhere, left and right, between players and fans. How much do you see on social media?
Honestly, I think I see a lot just because take someone like Kevin Durant who takes slander on social media like all the time from so many people. He
Yeah,
probably sees like 1% of everything that's said about him. Like if he's tagged in it, right? Like he's not, I mean,
yeah.
he's probably among the people that keep scrolling and scrolling on the stuff he's tagged in. But for most, like the majority of guys, it's like maybe 1%.
Hmm.
But I feel like for me and maybe for other guys on the team, it's like not a whole lot is being said on social media. And what is, and you're being tagged in is like kind of visible. So I feel like I do see a
True.
lot of it. Um, and it's not like it hasn't been terribly negative. Like for sure, there's like some comments like, oh, this and that, but a lot of it's been like positive reinforcement from fans and stuff, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool to see. Um, but I guess it's not always that way, and it can change pretty quickly. So I'm
Well,
aware of
I'll
that.
give you our word that on social media from now on, we will make sure that we come after anyone that comes after you. As a guest of our show, like we will make sure that we clap back at them. Like you don't have to worry about that.
I love that. Social
Yeah.
media bodyguards.
Exactly. No, but no, this has been really good. We just have a few more questions. Did you have anything?
Yeah, just the only thing for me, I've always respected soccer players for how far you have to run because I'm just like I'm the worst natural runner. I have to train for months to run like a 5K. So I was wondering like how many miles you actually have to run in a pro soccer game.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I would say like average is like last year in my games, I was running like 10, 11 kilometers. So that comes out to like around 7 miles maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Colin can attest, like if you play a 90-minute game, like there are periods in the game where you're like dead and you feel like you can't move anymore.
Yeah. You're
Like,
just walking.
yeah, you know the feeling where it's like, you probably should be running somewhere, like, or
Mhm.
like closing down to defend, but you just can't make it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
pretty
always tell
helpless
people
feeling,
like
but
if
it
there wasn't
happens.
Yeah, if there wasn't a ball on the field, I don't know if I'd keep running. Like if you told me to go
Yeah.
run a race 7 miles, I think at mile 4 I would quit. But
Yeah, it's
because
so
there's a
true.
ball, I keep running.
Yeah, it's so true. You're just like forced to like keep pushing and pushing and
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's
I
tough.
guess,
It's the
yeah.
hardest part of the game, honestly, is like because if you can feel fresher than your opponent, like on the ball or off the ball, you already have an advantage. So fitness
Mhm.
is like the biggest part.
Yeah. Yeah. We're preparing for a 5K possibly on the 4th of July. It's in
Oh, nice.
talks, but Mike is very against it. He
Uh-huh.
doesn't want to run. He doesn't want to have to do anything that day involving any type of stamina. Like it's a work in progress. We'll see how it goes. We'll let you know how that goes.
4th of July is just for burgers and beers for you guys,
Oh,
or it's
absolutely.
fair 5K.
We should think of a punishment for the loser,
Oh yeah.
which will be
Do you have
Mike.
a punishment in mind that we could do for our loser?
Hmm. I mean, I was gonna say there's like the classic fantasy football one, like the Waffle House challenge or whatever. Have
Oh
you heard
yeah,
of this
I
one?
did that last season
Yeah.
because I
Oh, you
lost.
did it.
Brutal.
Terrible.
When you see the afternoon shift come in and you have to meet all new waitresses and wait,
Terrible.
it's such a low point.
So how many waffles did you do?
So I got to 14.
So
Yeah,
10 hours, 14 waffles?
yeah.
That's really impressive. Like
It
14 is a
sucked.
lot.
I mean, I had a lot of friends come by and like hang out with me as I was
Yeah.
doing it, and then like they would have waffles too while we sat there.
Nice.
But once you start smelling the old grease on the stove around like hour 6 or 7, like your stomach starts churning. You got people looking at you funny.
God. Do you just sleep for like 24 hours after that?
Funny enough, I went home and like my family was making dinner, and I sat down and had a burger and fries. Like,
No way.
yeah, I was hungry. I ate so
Well,
much that I got hungry. It was a really crazy thing. I was laughing about it, but
dude, that's
it
crazy.
felt terrible the next day.
Yeah, I never want to do that. I don't have that big an appetite, so I'm struggling there. I'd be there for like 20 hours.
No, yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. But here I have a few more questions. So the first one is kind of like a dumb one, but on NYCFC's website, I was just scrolling through and I happened
Mhm.
to come across this. It is unknown if you're a lefty or righty.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says on your player profile.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a lefty.
All
Definitely.
right. So there we go. We can clear that up.
Yeah.
And then
Breaking
it's kind
news.
it's kind of a two-part question here, but who do you look up to? And then who was the best player you've ever played with
Good
or
question.
against?
Who do I look up to in terms of like any soccer player, like someone on my team or
Anything that like that you look up to. It could be someone in your position, just a random player that you're like, oh, I like the professionalism.
yeah. I think kind of like my first soccer idol was Ronaldinho.
Uh-huh.
Um, I had like I had like a nanny when I was younger who was from Venezuela who like knew some like a little bit about soccer, but she
Yeah.
always knew like she would always say Ronaldinho's name, and I would watch highlights and stuff, and he was just yeah incredible talent, and just like watching him dribble is just amazing. I can do it for hours. So I would say Ronaldinho,
Hmm.
and then best player played with or against. I would say I think I have to put Tyler Adams in there.
Oh
Played
yeah,
with him on that USL championship winning team, and
yeah,
yeah, he was just a workhorse in the midfield, and it was so fun to play with.
yeah. I mean, we're seeing that now at Leeds. I mean, he's
Yeah,
bleeding like every other game.
yeah,
The way he's running on the field. You see him last game, he had blood like all over his
yeah,
face.
yeah. And he's always he talking shit with the other players and stuff, and
He's
yeah,
always instigating.
yeah,
And now he's
always.
got Weston McKinney with him, who's like
That's
just a
right.
step down from that.
Yeah, yeah. No, those
That
two in the midfield would be fun to watch. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, it's too bad Jesse isn't there anymore with them, Jesse
Wow.
Marsh, but
It
yeah,
looked like he
that'd
was going to
be
get that Southampton job. I'm not sure what's happening there, but
yeah. I saw that as well. I thought I read that fell through, but I'm not positive. I haven't followed up on it.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah,
But anyways, thanks for coming on, man. I mean, this was awesome to get to talk to
yeah,
you. I'm sure Mike and I were talking about it earlier. We're going to try and come out to a game. So we'll
for
be there
sure.
eventually. You'll probably hear us or see us screaming at you. But
Awesome.
no, we'll be at a game. Thanks for coming on. And then good luck on Saturday. Crush it. We'll be watching. For anyone that's listening, it's on Apple TV, and I think it's
Yeah.
going to be on Fox, if I'm not
Oh yeah, that
mistaken.
game will be cool.
Yeah. So watch it. Watch Kevin play. Hopefully he scores his first goal. But thanks, man, for coming on. It was a pleasure.
Till
Yeah,
next
thank you guys so
time.
much for having me. Colin, great to see you again. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
you
it.
too.
Yeah, take care, you guys.